Hi, everybody. Matt and Paul here from Fiduciary Wealth, and today we are going to talk about the HQA visa in Portugal. So a little bit less well known than say the D7, the D2. But before we talk about that specifically, Paul, you're going to give us a bit of an update on the NHR in Portugal.
Absolutely, because I think it's probably tied to the HQA visa, at least from my perspective, it is. So, Portugal had a wonderful non-habitual residency program, which provided a lot of tax exemptions. You know, um, Tax on pension income was 10. That was a headline rate, but you could reduce it effectively to 1.5. There was um,
No dividend tax was a good one, wasn't it?
no dividend tax. Exactly. There's obviously no inheritance tax before or after, but there were a lot of tax benefits. But of course, the Portuguese government came to the view that that it was too accommodating, and it had pushed. There'd been such an influx of um, foreigners into Portugal that it pushed the price of property up considerably to the detriment of longer term residents and Portuguese nationals. So eventually they decided that they would do away with the scheme, and they've come up quite recently. So this is a fresh update in February of this year, 13th of February 2025 to be precise. Um, and they have announced that the new scheme, which they now have coined as IFICI, which apparently is just as well, is very attractive for people moving to Portugal, but is more restrictive in terms of the scope. So rather than targeting mat retirees, they're now targeting people that can create employment in Portugal, create jobs and create economic activity. So the investment agencies concerned, ASEP and AIAPMEI, IAPMEI, announced certain things concerning this new scheme. It's targeting eligible, those that can apply are eligible professionals involved in qualified startups, qualified investments, industrial stroke service export activities, and other recognized activities covering a wide range of sectors, including hospitality, where they have their corporate headquarters in Portugal, fund services, and other technical consultancy technology, basically. Um, so, what is the difference between NHR and IFICI? So, essentially, even though it's more restrictive than the non-habitual residency regime, IFICI Plus offers still some attractive tax incentives, 20% flat rate of tax for 10 years on eligible income. So an entrepreneur that comes here and has a high um, income would only pay tax at a flat rate of 20. So it's clearly aimed at not at retirees, but people who are entrepreneurial and starting up new businesses. There's no inheritance or wealth tax, and it's free of capital gains from foreign securities, and no tax on cryptocurrencies either. So I think it's a scheme which is not as wide in scope as NHR, but nonetheless, for entrepreneurial individuals that want a tax benign environment, I think it's quite appealing and attractive. So how does the HQA visa tie in with IFICI? An interesting question because the HQA visa, you quite rightly said, the D7 visa, the D2 visa, the D8 visa, but HQA visa, I don't think it's as widely
Okay.
um, um, known as the other visas. So essentially, and this is the interesting bit. So we yeah. And remember, so I mentioned D2 visa, the D7 visa, the D8. Remember, the golden visa still exists. It's morphed into something else. You can't buy property, but you can buy into qualifying funds for the same amount for 500,000. And I should say that because a lot of people say golden visa is dead in Portugal. Well, it's not dead. It only means that you cannot do it through a property acquisition. You have to do it through a collective with an eligible fund that invests in different sectors. Again, sectors that will drive economic activity in Portugal. So the
Yeah.
golden visa is still live and a route to market for anyone wanting to establish residency. And I think we should stress that because people have now come to the wrong conclusion that golden visa is no longer a route. It is a route, but it's not exactly the same as it was before. But for someone who's wealthy enough to want to acquire a residency, the golden visa is alive and kicking. But Matt, let me go into the HQA visa. It's called the high qualified activity visa. It's aimed at investors and executives. So essentially designed for entrepreneurs, executives, investors, small and medium-sized enterprises who are keen in investing in innovative Portuguese research and development or business initiatives. Um, so it has less in-country residence obligations compared to the other visa routes. Yeah. So what is the key eligibility criteria for the HQA visa? Well, investment of at least 170,000 euros in eligible innovative projects or research and development initiatives, um, active incubation, participation, or passive investment focused involvement options. So either you are driving this new company, this new initiative, or you invest in it, or you invest in the startup without being actively involved in running the business. So, yes, ideal for entrepreneurs, for executives, for investors, for people who are entrepreneurial. And it has, they give you a visa for 2 years. It's extendable for another 3 years, after which you apply for permanent residency, and even citizenship is also attainable, very much on the same lines as it is for the other visa routes. We spoke about D2, D7, D8, golden visa. So yeah, I think the message from this video is the golden visa is still alive. It's still a route. Admittedly, it's not the same as it was before, but in essence, it's a €500,000 investment. And the HQA visa is the new kid on the block, below the radar, not aggressively marketed to date, but one which provides entrepreneurs that want to live, essentially in the sun, better quality of life and still remain entrepreneurial, can explore and consider that route. And both for the golden visa and for the HQA visa, we've got the ability to help them secure the visa, the residency through those routes.
Yeah. And it's a nice combo, isn't it? That the HQA and the new NHR. I forget what the NHR 2.0, some people refer to it. The
Correct.
you could remind me
I
of, but
Yeah.
yeah. But it's a good combo. But no, there are options for Portugal, and there's still a tax efficient way to do it, isn't it? And we can help in both those respects.
So anyone watching this video, if you're considering Portugal and the golden visa still appeals, or if you're an entrepreneur and you want to live in a beautiful country like Portugal and and start up another business without paying excessive tax. In fact, it's a light touch tax environment. Then the HQA visa is the route, and we are the ones that can deliver that for you.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, yeah, if that resonates with you, you're in that position, then feel free to contact us here at Fiduciary Wealth Management, connect at fwm.gi. Or if you're watching this video, you might want to share it with somebody who does. Otherwise, continue to like, share, comment on our videos. Make sure you've subscribed. There is more content coming. But for now, thank you, and we'll speak to some of you soon. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.